we visit the iconic railway on the south coast of South Australia. SteamRanger Heritage Railway operates a number of different heritage steam and diesel-hauled tourist trains between Mount Barker in the Adelaide Hills, up and over the crest, the southern Mount Lofty Ranges, down to Strathalbyn, through the coastal towns of Goolwa, Port Elliot, to the tourist resort town of Victor Harbour. But back in 1850, it was said this was another blunder about to be committed, introducing into the council a scheme for a railway between Goolwa and Port Elliot, known then as by the name of Freeman's Knob. It was said there were several reasons why this railway shouldn't have been built. One of those was it denied the fact that the railway will open up traffic on the Murray. Secondly, it was assessed that the traffic on the river will never be significant importance to require the expenditure of £20,000 in constructing the proposed railway. Thirdly, we deny the existence of a shipping harbour at Port Elliot. And lastly, they tried to prove the fact that the port did not exist in that part of the coast. It cannot, from its position, command an extensive export. But the line was built and opened on the 18th of May 1854. It was horse-drawn, running between Goolwa and Port Elliot. Then by August of 1864, the line was then extended and opened August 1864 to Victor Harbour and continued out to Granite Island, where the harbour was situated. By November of 1883, the intercolonial railway from Adelaide to Melbourne, then under construction, had reached an end. Building up the line from Mount Barker to Strathalbyn then proceeded, being opened in September 1884. With the introduction of steam traction in 1884, the present railway station complex at Strathalbyn was constructed and became the largest railway centre on the line, along with upgrading the facilities of other stations. Steam locomotion was introduced as far as Goolwa in December of 1884 and to Victor Harbour in April of 1885.
up to today has been hauled by our steam loco RX 207. It was built in the UK way back in 1913 and it served very faithfully the South Australian Railways on both metropolitan and country work right up into the 1960s. SteamRanger acquired this steam loco along with a couple of others and it's undergone some very heavy restorations through its life. We use it quite regularly on cockle train services, charter work and all sorts of other SteamRanger haulage. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the Southern encounter is underway, so we hope you're all comfortable in your seats. So we hope that you enjoy your journey as we firstly find our way up to Philcox Hill. So you'll hear the loco working quite a bit because there's quite a climb up to Philcox Hill. And then we'll pass through some other locations and arrive at Strathalbyn in about 45 minutes. The red car, which houses our buffet, which Elaine and Judy are quite happy to serve you a nice piping hot tea or coffee, was built in the same period, 1908 to 1923, and that car was particularly used in and around the metropolitan area. When SteamRanger acquired it, we modified it so that it could be used as a buffet car on the longer service from Mount Barker to Victor Harbour.
We're on our way. My name is Pat. It's my birthday today, and this is a birthday treat.
Hi, name's Steve. I came along here because I actually saw an advert for this in the Advertiser about 3 weeks ago. My era was diesel. I got interested in diesel trains sort of like back in the 70s.
We actually live in Strath, and the railway line goes across the back of our property, so we often see the SteamRanger go by, and so one day we'd love to go on it and have a nice trip down to Victor Harbour.
This particular run, the Victor Harbour run, I used to do quite regularly on a Saturday morning. I'd go to work because I worked in a department store, finish around about lunchtime, jump on the train. I usually had a book with me, and by the time I did the journey, I'd have the book read.
So we're just slowing down as we've entered the Finnis station yard limits, and you'll see this old derelict rolling stock. There's a sheep wagon, a cattle wagon, and a special wagon that was modified when we were restoring the line back to use, which assisted us with ballast work there for storage in case we need spare bogies and wheels and things. So the lovely old station is Station Master's home, still over there, looking resplendent. Travelling slowly through this area here, and you'll get the chance to have a look out as we cross over the bridge that crosses the Finnis River, which is not very far ahead. Currency Creek is about up that 108 kilometre mark from Adelaide.
It does in some ways, and that's only because I've actually made a bit of a conscious effort to do some rides on steam trains. Pretty much, yeah. And the fact that they were using some carriages that I have never actually ridden in, only seen, sort of tempted me as well. In fact, the whole structure of the thing looked really, really good.
Well, the last time we travelled on it, it left from Keswick, so we reckon it's about over 30 years ago. And I went with a group from work. I worked for the Housing Trust then, and a group of us came along together, and it was a lovely day. So it's just me and my husband.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been an excellent trip. I've really enjoyed it. But I'm at Mount Barker, yeah. Yeah, going all the way to Victor and turning around and coming back again. That's going to be interesting, actually. I'm kind of keen to see how well it performs going back up when it gets to that sort of section to Strathalbyn. Up the hill a bit, yeah.
Trains are operated and manned by volunteers from the Australian Railways Historical Society, who is also responsible for the maintenance of the rail and the heritage locomotives and carriages. All locos and carriages are mechanically inspected prior to their use on any train service. Running maintenance on steam locos can involve tasks such as greasing, oiling, cleaning, smoke box, firebox and injectors, coaling, varied mechanical jobs, inspection of locomotives. Much less effort is required on a diesel locomotive and carriages, with servicing and cleaning being the main tasks. From time to time, selected locomotives and carriages are taken completely out of service, necessary as part of a forward-looking program to serve and upgrade rolling stock.
Green and gold cars are known as centenary cars. They were actually built between 1908 and 1923. But in 1936, which was the centenary of the founding of South Australia, a number of local carriages were taken out of stock and they were modified so that they were painted green and gold. They had toilets fitted, booth-style seating and also overhead luggage racks. They were then used for what was once upon a time a quite extensive country railway network, and they became known as centenary cars. They've been lovingly restored by SteamRanger after they were acquired from the South Australian Railways.
If you are travelling on the 11 o'clock service to Goolwa and Port Elliot, we ask that you board the train now.
Now for all passengers, just a reminder, apart from when you're transiting through to come through to the buffet area, it is not permitted to be on the index of any of the carriages. Regulations prohibit that. It's not SteamRanger that prohibits it, it is regulations that prohibit it. So you must stay inside the carriage, and even when we're at the stations and starting to move off from the platform. Thank you.
So depending on the time of the year as to whether it's steam loco hauled, diesel electric hauled with a 500 class, or it may be a rail car drill model 75, or it could even be a red hen rail car which were used on the Adelaide suburban lines. The brill rail cars, forerunners to the red hens, come about by the need in the days for a more cost efficient way to transport people on very lightly patronised lines. And in 1955 the red hens began to service the line in Adelaide, slowly cutting back on the loco hauled trains pulled mostly by F-class dollies and sometimes the RX. Examples of both are at SteamRanger. Examples of trains that SteamRanger do have is a good example of what it was like to ride on the suburban lines around Adelaide, and the use of the centenary cars and steel cars which were used on country passenger trains.
He's a card, isn't he?
Oh yeah.